Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Sky Tour Livestream. Tonight, we're going to be chasing the moon. Basically, we're not going to be looking at the moon, but we're going to be chasing its light because the moon will be rising later. We had to start later out there. But, as always, I have with us tonight Daryl Mason. Hi, Daryl. How's it going?
Well, Mark, it's snowing.
It's snowing at Daryl's place in Colorado.
Yeah. I went out a little while ago. I'd say that 4 inches are on the ground. They say we may get a foot of snow overnight, believe it or not.
Oh, that is terrible.
Yeah, springtime in the Rockies.
Well, welcome, folks. Good to see you guys. DPFX, how are you? Nice to see you. PG, hello. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Actually, a little less. Bonnie, Anahata 77, nice to see you as well. Cindy Murphy, welcome. And Volkish Freilein, how are you? Good to see you. And Genghis is here with us as well. Genghis is sort of a long-time viewer with a bunch of you as well, so that's really cool. Tonight we're testing. We actually we had a failure at the computer in the observatory yesterday. And Tara, the artist who made the door, went out to the observatory, and she was working with me over the phone to fix it, and as you can see, we apparently fixed it. We also replaced the cable, which may have been at fault as well. So I'm not sure, but we're going to give it a test tonight. Now, you can see the stars are dancing around. It's very windy out there. So that's why we're kind of starting at 11 o'clock. The later we start, 11 Eastern, the later we start, the less likely it is that the wind will wreak havoc on us. But it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm just going to do a focus run here just to try and get our stars focused up. So that's the first thing I do, and then we're gonna align the telescope because it's actually not aligned anymore. I had shut it off, and because I had to, and when I did that, I lost the alignment. But first things first, we're gonna focus. So let's do that. Go into our focus assistant. Then we're gonna do a plate solve to figure out where we're looking.
Oh, before I forget, hello everybody.
Well, that's a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Okay. It says too few stars. Well, let's actually increase our gain a little bit here.
I had to put my winter clothes back on today.
Oh,
believe it or not.
terrible. That is just an awful thing to have to deal with.
Stocking cap, flannel shirt, long pants, heavy socks. My winter house shoes.
I just got rid of all the flannel sheets on the bedding here.
I thought I had, but you never can tell here.
Apparently not.
And it's supposed to be 90 degrees by a week from tonight.
Well,
actually, it was supposedly 90 yesterday, I think. Upper 80s at any rate.
It's going to be 90 here over the weekend. Yeah. This focus is going to have trouble with the wind out there, so we're just going to have to play with it. So, bear with us on this. Again, this stream is actually to kind of help us get a level set here. Okay, what did Volkish say? Have been stressed as I'm currently moving from Southern California to Southern Minnesota. Wow, that is a huge move, Volkish. Big move. Wish you the best. Wow. Hey there, Tim F. That's something else.
Not used to the snow. I bet you're not used to the mosquitoes either.
I guess that's going to be an issue, huh?
I heard they'll carry you away up there in Minnesota.
I bet.
You want to see a culture shock? The company I worked for many years got bought by a corporation in Minnesota.
Okay.
And a lot of upper management from the parent company moved here to Colorado.
Okay.
And their minds got blown when they got here. It's just it was so different than Minnesota.
Wow.
They loved it. Most of them. Some of them couldn't take it.
Yeah, well, Colorado's a beautiful place, but as I often say, Colorado still gets winter.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a plate solve now and see about capturing coordinates.
Well, there's a saying here in Colorado where winter's in spring, summer's in fall, fall's in winter, and there's no spring at all.
I am familiar with a similar type saying, although it's not really the same, I guess. It's that if you don't like the weather, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, they say that here.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
I suppose I say that a lot of places.
I guess that's probably true, huh? Alright, let's see if this is gonna work. We're gonna put these coordinates in. Alright, that's good. Now we're gonna get our declination coordinates and put them in. Our declination, of course, is our up and down. Plus 90 is the North Pole, minus 90 is the South Pole. The RA, or right ascension, that's the 360 degrees around, like the longitude lines, but we read them in hours because there's 24 hours in a day. Okay, so this is there, and now we're going to put these guys in. Let's do this. Make sure that goes in. There we are. Minus 9. Now we're going to sync and make sure that we get it.
I'm sorry, I've been yammering. I haven't been paying attention. I assume you've already done a plate solve.
I just did, and it looks like the software did not take the plate solve. It's probably going to, when I slide this out, it's probably going to say exception occurred. Yep. Okay, so the way I fix that is I literally disconnect the telescope, and I'm going to shut down the things that depend on the telescope. Alright, so that's shut down, and if I come out of this and restart it, it usually gets me back in. So we're going to try that. I don't know why that happens from time to time, but it does. Alright. And if it doesn't work, well then we'll have to do other things. Alright, so now we connect again. Oh, don't do this. That's not what I wanted. We were just connected fine. There we go. So we shall now connect back to the mount, and then I'll put in coordinates again. Takes a few seconds. And momentarily, there we go. And I think the declination was the last thing that I had put in, so I'll put that over here and it should come in. 9, and then I will grab the right assumption coordinates that we had and bring those in. Alright, and that looks good, and I should sync. Hopefully it will say synchronized. There we go. Okay. It's a quirk. Don't know why, but it happens. So now our telescope is aligned again. Yay. That's all good. Alright. So there. Okay. That part's done. And oops, now I gotta just bring up our digital planetarium system again. You still there, Daryl?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Just making sure, because you were just really quiet.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I was multitasking.
No problem. Okay. So let's come here now, and telescope's looking up, but I don't know what we've got up there. Let's find out. All right. So what we're gonna do is bring this up, and let's configure telescope, and we're gonna disconnect this guy and reconnect him. ASCOM STLS. There we go. Up it goes. Alrighty, that's all good. This. Alright. That's good. And now let's get our lines up. There's a couple things I want to look at if we can. And now that we're aligned, we can go check them out. And they're actually right down here in the south.
Seeing Arcturus there a minute ago reminds me,
Yeah.
did you have a chance to look at that article I sent you about that possible meteor storm in a week or so?
Oh yeah, I did. That's pretty cool. That's something that I got to figure out if we can do something here with that.
Yeah. I told Bill
Okay.
about that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna try to watch it or not. If he does, hopefully he'll let me know.
Okay.
Centaurus A.
Yeah. No, it's only just over 10 degrees above the horizon. We had a mechanical failure, guys, with the roof. Hey, Donald Kunzer. What's up? We had a mechanical failure with the roof, so we had to have someone go out and work on it. And so it's all fixed. But I also had them set it up so that where you see where I'm moving with the cursor right here, that part of the roof right there is actually further off the building. I had it set up so when you open the roof, it's further off the building, and that's really, really cool. It gives us a little more view. It doesn't cut off as much. This is off center in the building. It's closer to that side of the wall because we want to put another scope with similar capability right next to it. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is go see where the telescope is. Where'd it go? There it is. It's way up there. Okay. So we got to bring the telescope way down. I don't know if this is going to work. We may have to wait for it to get a little higher in the sky. But we're trying to look at this guy anyway. I mean, it's really, really cool. But now we can do it because we actually have a wonderful wonderful ability to look at objects that are lower in the sky. It's not perfect, but we will be able to do it. Okay, and let's just process this so it's not. Here we go. Okay, so we're at about 200 gain right now. Just looking at a random star field that we now know is at 11 hours, 36 minutes, and 39 seconds, as you can see, and 9 degrees, minus 9 degrees, 45 minutes, 45 seconds in degrees in position. So that's good. All right, now let's do a test. Let's bring up our system here. This is a shakedown cruise we're on right now, just so you know. It's just a shakedown cruise. Let's go to Spica. All right, it's a star. Let's just check it out. Spica is our positional, our magical star we're going to go to. All right, so here we go. We're doing this high precision directional movement heading to the east. That sure looked like a bright star that went through there. I bet you I know what star that is. So now it's going to center it up. And now it's going to center Spica. And it should put it right about here. And we can test to see how close it is to center by doing this. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Very nice.
Can we go to Stellarium for a second?
Yeah, we can. Let me just get out of here. Let's
When
go
you're
to
ready.
Stellarium, as you say.
Hello, Vera. Thank you.
Hi, Vera. It wasn't me. We know it was you, Vera.
Can you turn on constellation art?
I think I can.
We've talked about this before. You see, Spica is in Virgo's left hand. It's an ear of wheat. That's what Spica means.
Okay.
She's
All right.
holding ear of wheat in her hand.
Yep. Hi, David Schmidt.
Hey, David.
That's correct. And while we're in this neighborhood, why don't we check out some of the galaxies that are fairly high up. Let's turn that off. I will turn off the altazimuth lines there, which give you just the, for where you're sitting on the Earth. 90 degrees is straight up in that particular case, and 0 is at the horizon. It's sort of like a different coordinate system. And this is now, these coordinates are the Earth coordinates extended out into space. Okay, that's what we're looking at here. All right, so we're going to go to some of these objects that are here now. And one good one we've done before is Messier 3. It's a beautiful globular cluster. We're going to go there just for purposes of making sure that our focus and resolution is okay. Keep in mind it's very windy out there tonight, and so I don't know how long we'll be able to stream right now, but we're gonna go for it as much as we can. Okay. So now the telescope is going to find a waypoint star, a star that's going to serve to be a point that helps it jump off from to go to this cluster. It'll move that into the center. It's going to move Muffred, which is up there in the north. That's Muffred there. By the way, make sure you have 1080p set for your stream so you can read all the tiny writing and get a lot out of this, okay? There's Muffred, and now where I have my cursor, we should see the globular cluster appear here. And there it is. Alright. And that's not bad, that's pretty good. Now let's just let's set this to different. Oh, we have a rate. Good. A rate of movement within. There we go. We're gonna move a little to the west here a little bit. Bring this over. You can see where the telescope's pointing. It's actually pointing fairly high up, which is good. Okay. Oh, I understand, Volkish. Volkish says Bonnie was offering words of encouragement, and Volkish says, I hope it'll be a good transition. Lots of moving. Jeez. I'm glad you have time to come in and see us for a while. Alright, let's actually... let's try a 10-second shot here. And then live stack it. Just to get an idea. Alright. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, bring this up and do a color correction and then do a processing correction. Yeah, and then this, of course, has to come down because this is way too high. That's the problem. And then we have that. Look at that. That looks pretty. I haven't gotten out to the observatory yet, and I couldn't have anyone out there that was technical enough to be able to work on these diagonal artifacts in the images. I think that anyone that I would ask to check that out would probably be like, I'm not doing that. And this one is a real diagonal artifact. That's a Starlink satellite, actually. Saw so many of those today when I was working on the telescope earlier. Well, that's not bad, Daryl.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's got wind errors, but I mean, that's really, really good color rendition, everything.
Yes, it is. Very pretty.
For those of you in Colorado, I did a couple of Gaia TV spots today. I'm a regular on their Gaia News, and we talked about the black hole at the center of our galaxy, as well as the black hole at the center of Messier 87, which we'll look at, hopefully. And then I talked about how we're made of stuff built in stars, the star stuff. And that was a fun thing. And what we talked about, these clusters here, the globular clusters, back in the 70s, we beamed a message, a famous message in binary, basically an Arecibo message from Arecibo Observatory. And that message went to a cluster called Messier 13, which is on its way up. Hopefully we'll get to see it. And the irony is that there's probably no life in these globular clusters. And the reason is because these are among the oldest stars in the universe. So why wouldn't they have more chances of life, you might think? Well, it's because when they were formed with only the hydrogen that was in the primordial universe plus some helium and not a whole lot of other elements. And so even when they die, they're gonna go off and not create too many elements. They're also stars. Many of them are kind of like the sun, so they're gonna be planetary nebulas, and mostly what they're gonna give off is more hydrogen gas and the remnant of the helium that they made. So they can't make any of the complex elements that we find in life out in the universe. So I'm afraid that globular clusters, populous as they are, with stars, are just not a good place to hunt for life. At least that's the understanding we have at the moment. So
yeah, it always throws me that those early stars, they call them population 2. You'd think they'd call them population 1 since they're the oldest ones, but
oh yeah, I would
so
agree.
it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's do this here. No, it's pretty.
It is.
We're gonna pause this guy because I want to start taking advantage of getting to see some other things. What time is moonrise tonight? Do you know?
Give me just a second, I'll find out.
All right. This is Messier 3 GC Globular Cluster. And I will save it and save it exactly as seen after a color correction. Let's do one more color correction. That's not right. That's not good at all.
It must be after midnight. I'm looking at the moon for Arizona, and they don't have a listing for a rise time, which I assume means it's going to rise after midnight. I know. I think last night it was after 11:30.
Okay.
Let me check one other.
Okay, so we'll get rid of that. And go back to our 1 second shot. And do our hyper finder like view. All right. Let me look for a couple of the objects I want to find tonight. Okay, here we go. Okay. Alright. We're going to look for...
Time and date says the same thing.
Okay. Messier 99. Alright, that's where we're going to go next. Off we go. We're going to try. I know that it's a bit tough because the wind is difficult. But if we look at the overhead view... Okay.
Isabella's here.
Hi, Izabela.
Hi, Izabela.
Yeah, see the overhead view. So we're going to Denebola right now, and then we're going to move over to Messier 99, which is this beautiful little galaxy. It's the Virgo Cluster Pinwheel, as it's called. And here comes our telescope. And if we come back in here, we should see it. And there it is. Alright. Let's move the telescope.
Is it not truly dark out there yet?
Correct. It is not.
Is that why the sky looks like that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got the flat field for a dark sky on right now, and that's just not good. So.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're guiding. All right, so let us. I am a hologram, Izabela. Let's do 20 seconds and see if this will actually work with the wind. You knew it?
Yes, I always suspected.
Darn you.
And now you've been...
Now you must die. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of this. Clear. Alright. And now this this next picture will be our actual picture. Stack is reset. We're going to town. Thank you guys for coming out, incidentally. This is really cool. A new Marc colored bulb in the projector. OG Skywatch is saying how the UAP hearings were a bit of a letdown. Yes, they were. And I was there for them, not there, but I was listening in. And then I was in a show afterwards that was discussing them. And I felt similarly that these were basically just a huge letdown. But it wasn't at all what I didn't expect, unfortunately. I actually felt this is probably how it was going to go. You know?
I think it was probably exactly how I expected it to go.
Oh, come on now. You didn't have any faith at all that it might have something new to talk about?
Nah.
Yeah, me neither.
Boilerplate and CYA.
However, I will say this. And listening, one of the things that was very important to notice, I was at the disclosure hearings in Washington some years ago. And they were all retired Congress people that were up there. And retired military people. In this particular case, we actually had the Undersecretary of the Navy and the Undersecretary of Defense Office for Intelligence and Security. Active duty guys. That was pretty interesting. That's something different from what it was. So you know what? Whereas it may not be that exciting, whereas you might think, man, that was a waste, it was and it wasn't. It was in that you didn't get to hear the final answer. But it wasn't in that we actually chipped away just a little bit more and dug into the Washington complex. We got people actively on duty in their duty stations. What we didn't get to hear, unfortunately, OG, to respond, was the witnesses, the people that actually saw the things. And they were there, by the way. They were there. But they weren't allowed to speak. Then they had a closed session, a classified session. Now, because of my work I've done with the Navy for many years, I've been in such sessions, and usually what it means is they talk about the mechanism by which they obtained the video or the film or the imagery that you were seeing. Something that they don't go public about because they don't want anyone to know about the techniques they have on hand or from the sky. And so that's usually what happens in the closed sessions. They don't reveal the real aliens or anything like that. That never gets stated. It's just kind of how it is, you know. So it's even anticlimactic when you're in a closed session. Like I said, I've been in a couple, you know, nothing major. Okay, we're getting some wind errors, but you know what? Just to show this off, it's kind of fun. This is M99, the Virgo Pinwheel. Alright, and I will put that up here because I will save it. Why not?
Obviously distorted.
A little bit.
Yeah, I would expect as much being in the Virgo cluster like that.
Yeah. It's also, I thought you were talking about the wind, but you're talking about this arm that's flailing out here, and these that are kind of hooked. Yeah, it's been gravitationally disturbed by nearby galaxies for sure. Maybe even these two over here. Let me get over to them.
I was meaning to ask about those. The ones over on the left?
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Okay, good.
At least I'm trying. There we go.
Yep.
I believe those are interacting with each other for sure.
Yeah. What jumped out at me when I first saw those was the coloration is so different on them. The one on the left is much redder.
Yeah, which could imply a lot of star-forming regions. You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's try something here. I'm going to go back to my auto size, fill the frame, and go and do one more process tweak. There we go. And alright, and now the only other thing I want to do is I do want to do one more color adjustment.
I'd like to ask one other thing of you before you leave the area too.
Sure. Go ahead.
Oh, now, if you go back to Stellarium for a moment, just
Sure.
to the upper left of M99. I should know this. You see the blow dryer galaxy there to the upper left?
Yes.
And what did that turn out to be?
That was this NGC 4321.
Oh, okay. It was M100, yeah.
M100, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check this out. Okay, just a second. I'm going to because we are on this guy right here, and I want to align us on that one. So we bring this guy over. There we go. Set up the coordinates, and it affects the telescope. It drags the coordinates of the telescope and actually makes the coordinates of the telescope more proper. So now we're more aligned. Okay, so that's really pretty, and we've stacked 20 frames. I'm going to pause this right now, and I'm going to save it. I got it labeled up there as M99 Virgo Pinwheel. So we'll save it. Get our stack saved, which is what it did. Available up on the server in moments, and then we're going to save it exactly as seen. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is take our stack and stop stack and go to 1 second again and give us our hyper view. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to take the focus out substantially, because I focused when we had some wind, and it looks like the wind's calming a little bit. And I would like to refocus. So here I go, I'm going out now in the focus. So the stars will become little donuts. There we go. And now that they're donuts, I'm going to go in and do our focus assistant here again. And multi-star full width half maximum. Focusing. And we're going to scan inward, because I went outward to where the focus wasn't happening. It says there's too few stars, but that will change if I up the gain a little bit here. Let's do that, because we've been at a fairly low gain. Alright, let's do this now. Okay, why is it saying too few stars? We should be able to have stars.
Wonder if it might confuse the focuser if you have a lot of galaxies in field, you know, that are not point sources.
Yeah, I was thinking that's kind of interesting thought. We should build this should work once I get a a rendering of a few. Okay, 5 stars. Now I'll say go. Now it's gonna use these stars. Now we got 6. Now we got 5. And it's now gonna do these. This says too few. It's gonna wait. It's gonna wait until it has the right number. So we're doing some science here to focus. We're measuring the width of the image and how much room it takes up on the sensor for each star image within those yellow squares. As you can see, now we have plenty of stars. Because when I went out of focus, the fainter stars would, of course, disappear. As it comes in, you get a lot more. So right now, I've probably got 40 or 50 stars. So 72 stars, okay. 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 There's our focal plane. There we go. So we just go to our best focus location. There we are. And now we come back, and it's going to go all the way across out of focus, and then all the way back into focus. So here we go. All right. And now, with it set like that, I'm going to do a little bit of a photograph of this field again, but I'm going to recenter a few things, which I think will be interesting. And I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to head to the east a little and move this over. Okay. So we can get these other 2 galaxies into the frame enough. Okay. Then we're going to wait for our system right here to tell us that we have enough stars, and it's going to start doing its guiding. And once it does the guiding, we're going to take a 25-second exposure and start stacking that. Right. Waiting. There we go. So now it's going to start guiding. Okay. Here we are, guiding. And now I'm going to come in and start the live stack. And then clear the previous stack. Alright. Cleared that. And this I want to move this down a little bit.
Think we can take a look at Messier 100 before we leave the area?
Yeah.
Remember, that's a very pretty galaxy.
Yeah. And this is great music for these galaxies, no doubt. Oh, look at the little satellite.
I was looking at that, yeah. It's like a row of dots really close together.
Yeah. And it's not a Starlink train. It's too small for a Starlink train, and besides, you wouldn't see them. They'd be all streaks. This is actually a tumbling satellite that's getting bright and then going out, getting bright and going out as it's moving across the field. So that's what you're seeing there. A tumbler, we call those. Really pretty. Let's process this and kind of unstretch a little bit. There we go. Well, welcome to the universe, guys. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sky. These 2 galaxies, who knows how many civilizations we're looking at right now. Over here we have a galaxy, 1 here, 2 here, and that ain't all, there's more in here. here and here. There's actually some faint stuff going on there. Faint star halos around these bright stars. There's another galaxy right there.
One over in the lower right corner.
Yeah, I mentioned that one earlier. Yep. You just look around and you'll see more and more. Amazing to think that how populous they are in the universe. There's just so many of them. And if we understand some of the science, it's possible that many of these galaxies, if not all of them, have a supermassive black hole at its heart. And that's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. Let's take a look here and see how well. Let's go to 100% here and see how well we're focused. We got some motion from the wind, unfortunately, but it's not bad. Not bad for a windy night where we're going to have 30 plus mile an hour winds. And we got this big thing sticking up above us here that's moving around in the breeze like a weather vane. But not bad.
Tantalizing stuff just on the edge of vision there in 99.
Really?
Oh yeah, well just hints of fine detail down inside it. You zoom back in on it a little bit.
Well, we'll be able to see that on a night where we don't have wind. Tomorrow night's actually supposed to be reduced wind out there, so we might be able to look at it there.
Okay.
If we can stream tomorrow, I'll have to check. Yeah, look at it. It looks like we've got some really interesting material right here, and we've got some knots of material here.
Yes.
Yeah. These bright spots are just errant pixels on the camera. I can fix those. I could probably do it from here. I haven't even tried. I've just been too excited about the kind of performance we're getting. Really nice. This satellite you can see is fading actually as it goes across the sky. Another galaxy down here, as I mentioned.
The dots show up better too. See where it's tumbling.
Mm-hmm. We can figure out it's knowing the rotation, knowing the photo exposure time. We can actually figure out the rotation rate of the satellite and probably identify the exact satellite from this. And Bonnie says, I'm curious about the double stars at 9:15 from the pinwheel. Talking about double stars at 9:15.
Over to the left. Yep, you're out of field now. If she's talking about the well, the double star I saw, it's out of the field of view now. It's off the left-hand edge. Right there. One? Is that it, Bonnie?
Is that what you're talking about, Bonnie? Shaiben BS, how you doing? Well, all the planets that we're looking at that are in our solar system are within our galaxy, of course. All these stars are in our galaxy, and we're looking through them to galaxies millions and millions of light years away. Bonnie says yes, that was it. Interesting. That might be a line of sight coincidence, Bonnie. We'd have to check to see what we're looking at there. I'm going to go to the enhancement tab and add an unsharp mask to kind of sharpen this up a little bit. There we go.
You would think an unsharp mask could make it less sharp.
I know, right? That's right. Unsharp this thing. What?
Like a pencil unsharpener, you know?
I used to play with the convolution matrix process, which actually sharpens. You think of every pixel as being operated on by a matrix of numbers in a grid, and by changing numbers in those grid from like 1 to 0 to -1, you can actually sharpen the pixels a certain way, and so it can make it kind of an intelligent sharpening thing. Hey, weird guy. And the algorithm is actually pretty cool.
Can we take another peek at those two galaxies over to the left?
Yeah. Okay. I think they're going to be in a little more detail now because I moved them closer in,
Yeah.
and the exposure, although still blurred, another galaxy right there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You see the one on the left there. Again,
lane.
just hints of finer detail. It's got that dark lane down the middle. That's a whole lot like the Needle Galaxy 4565.
4565, which is nearby. That's sort of nearby.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so
That's neat.
Messier 100, or M99 rather, was my one I wanted to look at. I do want to look at the blow dryer galaxy, of course, M100. I think now we might be in a position to attempt to get
Centaurus A.
You got it. Yeah, I had to wait for it to come up. All right, so this is still M99, Virgo Pinwheel. And let me just come back out here just to put us back in that spot again. All right, so now you see the whole thing with the Virgo Pinwheel right there. And now what I'll do is I'm going to pause it at 21 stacked images. We're going to say pause. We're going to save it again. All right, so we're going to have a couple of entries in that particular entry on the server. Save exactly as seen. Actually, I'm going to do another color correction. And now I'm going to save it again exactly as seen. So there'll be two images up there in here. Okay. All right. There we go. So now we're going to clear this. And we're going to get rid of the stack for now. Go back to 1 second exposure here and increase our view to our enhanced finder view. Okay. And this enhanced finder view is what we're going to use to look for the next object up for bids. Up for bid and the price is right. Now what we're going to do is first of all we're going to shut off. No, this is what I want. We're going to come down here, because down below Spica, sitting down here, let's zoom out some. Down below Spica. Okay. Alright, still not up quite as high, but we might be able to catch it. Here's Centaurus A right here. This is an amazing galaxy, and right now, its altitude, the height of it is about 12 degrees. So if I lower the telescope down here, we're going to be blocked by part of the building, but it's okay because we'll actually have some light coming in. So I think we should try that. Just check it out.
Go for it.
Yeah, why not? I've never seen it before, so let's see if I can.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go drop it down to a speed of let's do it this way. Let's change that speed again.
Fifth brightest galaxy in the sky.
Yeah. Okay, 1.5 degrees. All right. Let's see now. We're way up there. Okay, let's do this. There we are, up there. All right. So let's drop it down and see. It may or may not work, but we're going to find out. All right. The only thing it means is if it doesn't work, we're gonna have to use our lifting columns to see this eventually. Well, we're gonna find out. So we're gonna move to the east a little bit now. You'll notice I'm not using it. I'm not doing it automatically, and that's because it's so down. It's so far low that I don't know if the telescope will have trouble finding it, and therefore start hunting around and saying I can't find it, and then it's gonna be a pain in the rear end to get that going. But let's find out.
Donald Kunzer, are you asking what I said about the fifth brightest galaxy? I do believe the fifth brightest is Centaurus A.
Fifth brightest, with Andromeda being close to one, the brightest.
Yeah.
Well, other than the Magellanic Clouds, right? Okay, we can see the building, but we see some stars still. So, I think with some care, we might actually be able to see.
It's pushing it.
Yeah, it's pushing it for sure. Let's see a little more. Up. I didn't have a lot of hope, but I would like to know if we can see anything. Alright, so now we're gonna bring this back to a slower rate of motion.
Weird guy says the music level's a little high. Obscures Marc's commentary a wee bit. I've noticed.
Well, you're right. Song by song that can happen. You're right.
Yeah. I've noticed you sound like you're cutting out a little bit sometimes, just a little bit. What have we encountered in the past?
Yeah.
Don't let me distract you.
You're not. Okay, so I gotta. Oh, it's on guiding. I don't want that. No wonder it wasn't moving. Okay. There we go. This going here to see where we are. Okay, well, we should be in here. Alright. So we should have it in this view right now. Now, you have to keep in mind that a lot of the telescope is blocked, so we're probably only seeing a very small amount. But let's just see. In other words, we might be looking at the equivalent of like a 2-inch telescope or something, so we may not see it. But I do want to try a 25-second shot anyway and get rid of this and just stack and see if we can see it in the field. And I know you do too. All right. I've never seen it before.
I've seen it once. what I told that story.
Yeah, maybe. Oh. Tantalizing. Yeah, there's too much brightness there. It's red because there's a tiny red LED that's on the end of the telescope. Is that it? That might be it.
Might be.
There's a tiny red LED on the end of the camera. And where that's pointing is it's hitting that tiny LED is going the 6 feet, 5 feet to the wall and subtly reflecting on the camera. See that? It's a tiny LED on the end of this camera. I might have to put black tape on that thing. Ay, ay, ay.
Well, you'd wonder why they would do that.
Well, because they don't expect that people are going to have a telescope wall right around the corner here. Let's try to see if I can correct for it. Yeah? I think that's it.
I suppose most cases the camera would be mounted behind the telescope, and you wouldn't have to worry about that anyway.
That's correct. Yeah, that's Centaurus A. But man, we're getting this haze from the building. I'm not going to keep this, unfortunately, because this is just not good enough. When they have the lifting columns, we'll be able to image this really, really beautifully, as well as Omega Centauri, which is just down below here. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I feel like I should just try to do that. It's not going to be worth it, though. I won't be able to get it. It's way, relatively speaking, it's too far down. It's right there. It's literally 1, 2. It's 4 more degrees down. That's not a lot of degrees. I know you want to try it. Don't tell me you don't want to try it. You know you want to try it. You know you want to. So, why not? Alright, we won't keep this. We'll clear it. And go here. Because it's a galaxy, it's not quite as bright. And Omega Centauri is one of the most beautiful clusters in the sky. So, we're going to see a bunch of stars, if we can see it at all. But let's just try it. I mean, why not? It may not work. It may work. I don't know. But we're going here. Alright. So let's go and do this. It's not even it's not even as high in the sky as it could be, but you know, we'll see. Now let's do this. We're gonna do 1.5 degrees per second. Drop down. Keeping careful watching the telescope. Whoa. Okay, well, we're there. So let's center it up and see what we can see, if anything. Yeah. I don't even see stars now of any kind. We're fully blocked by the building.
I don't think so, homie.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? We got a whole sky. We don't need those stars. We don't need no stinking clusters. All right. But that's okay. We tried. That was on the list to try tonight. All right. So tried that. Now let's go to NGC 4216. You know what that one is?
Not offhand.
Silver streak. Is it 4316 or 4216? 4216. And you see 4216. Okay. Back up into the sky where things happen. Alright. Let's go there.
Mark, could you excuse me a moment, please?
Sure.
Right back.
I'll be right here. And the sky is dark again, guys. Telescope's leaning a little bit, to the west, as you can see. The lines on the screen indicating if it was straight up and down, that's due south. But because it's not straight up and down, it's leaning this way, the telescope's leaning over a little bit. And we are moving to a nearby star, Denebola. And that nearby star is going to form the waypoint star. We're going to this galaxy here, which is the Silver Streak galaxy, right next to so many other galaxies that are out here. So we're going to head there. Okay. And there's the Silver Streak. That looks pretty. And of course the telescope's pointing straight up in the air, and it's gonna make a bit of a mess of the image because of the wind. Let's go to 100%, see how much movement we're getting. Oh yeah. See, when it's still you can see pretty good, but then the stars, look at that, they streak out like that. Okay. Yeah, it was worth it, Bonnie. I thought I'd give it a shot, The blooper reel. Well, keep in mind, we're putting a big lifting column underneath this telescope, and it's going to raise it up another 22 inches. And it's going to help it, it's going to clear the wall height. Now, the alternative was to drop the observatory down. But we'd have to build it up higher and then drop the walls once the roof came off. The engineering to do that was a little bit elaborate. And so we chose not to do it because a lot of things could go wrong when you have a mechanical device amid a desert full of sand. So we didn't. Okay, let's try the Silver Streak here. We're going to go 25 seconds again. And this time we're going to set the gain at a little higher. It's at 294. We're going to go to 344. Right? Actually, I want to go to 350. Okay. Here we go. And it's taking an image. Of course, it's going to be bright because I've got it in our motion here. But you can see how the stars are stretched out. So 25 seconds with the wind might not work. But let's try it. Alright. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Well, it looks like we lucked out on that one a little bit. Silver Streak, Daryl.
Yes. You got quite a few in the field there with it.
Oh yeah.
Several of them edge on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Marcarian's chain is just over there, so
yeah,
we're close, and the Virgo galaxy is just over there, to the left.
You see the one just to the upper left of it and the one just to the lower right of it. They're both edge on too.
Yeah, these guys, yeah. This looks like an elliptical. This looks like a faint, elongated spiral or something. This is right there. So we got 1, 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, but I'll keep it at 9, 10, 11, 11 galaxies so far in my count. Oh, 11, 12, and 13. Look at that. 2 little ones right there. Let's bring our black level up just a bit to blacken up space just a little bit. There we go. And back here. Silver streak looks really pretty. Silvery. Weird guy. Nice Rorschach test. I see a butterfly. That's funny. Very nice.
Billions and billions.
Yep. It's like in the poem I wrote. I said, you know, billions of beings, millions of years away. Because that's how far away they would be practically from us if they ever try to move here or get here. You'll notice I'm looking at both sides. I got the broadcast section here with the chat, and I have the observatory feed right here. This was just fixed today. Again, the roof was fixed the other day, but then I got the bright idea that I needed to go back to a previous iteration of the computer, a previous image, and I tried to do it from long distance, and there's a couple of dialog boxes that come up when you do that, and they have to be answered at the site, and I was like, ugh. So I had to have Tara Diulis run out there. She went out there today, bless her heart, and followed the instructions that I gave her, and she had this thing back up and running within an hour. And I did get my previous thing. She also installed a new cable. I replaced the cable that I felt was iffy. It was the cable that connects the computer to the telescope, so that's kind of a big one. The most important cable. For those who want to know what kind of cable it was called a prolific serial to USB connector. Okay, we're at 12 stacked right here. Let's start zooming in, huh, Daryl? This might be interesting
Sure.
to see the silver streak. Well, the wind is wreaking a little havoc, but you know what? We're getting somewhere. Look at this beautiful dark lane in the silver streak you can see.
Mm-hmm.
That's really pretty. This one's also an edge-on, as Daryl said, as is this. And look, we got another galaxy here. Might be a companion as well as this. Not sure where they belong. They might be companions. We've got one here. I don't think I even saw those before. So, we got like 14 galaxies that we can see. We're going to keep this one too, because it's fun. This is going to be this will be NGC 4216. silver streak. NGC 4216. And that's a galaxy. GAL. Okay. Let's see if we can process this a little bit to show us some more detail. If I take this and I drag it down just a little, it's going to darken up and enhance a little bit. And then I'll take the dark level and move it in a notch. There we go. That's pretty good. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Billions and billions.
Yeah.
As somebody said, it'd be such a shame for all that and for nobody else out there to appreciate it.
Well, that's why we're here, right, Daryl?
Sure.
To help with that. Think about the technology and the literal visual impact that this system has. This is live. We're seeing the universe live. There's no one doing this. This is just outstanding. I don't know. This is the thing that I have always dreamed of being available and not really having it available. It started as a Wi-Fi connection to the Skytour East telescope, the one behind me that you guys often see, being rehabbed. And that telescope, I was connected to it via Wi-Fi, but sometimes the Wi-Fi connection would kind of be iffy, even though it's, 75 feet away from here on the lawn. It was far enough away that it might not work too well. Plus, it was going through a building, but a real dome building. But we outgrew that, and so I sold the dome to a guy on Long Island, and I hope he gets some great use out of it. And we're building a new one with the actuators that are going to lift the roof off and bring it down to the side and then pick it up and put it back on again. So we'll have our Connecticut observatory back up and running, I hope. But we also have a second telescope to put in the Arizona Observatory. And it's, also, I talked to the Galileo team that Avi Loeb from Harvard runs, and we had a nice discussion about the possibility of looking at what they do and seeing if I can offer any assistance, if I can. I don't know if I can, but you know what? 1, 2, 3 more, 4 more. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 6. There's a lot of galaxies here. It just goes on and on. A beautiful spiral there. Look at that, huh? That's amazing.
Weird guy said, what would they see looking back at the Milky Way? They'd probably see pretty much us to them would look pretty much like what they look like to us.
Yeah, we don't know the angle of our Milky Way, relatively speaking. Well, we do, to like this galaxy, but our galaxy would probably look kind of like this one to them. But ours is a barred spiral, so our nucleus would be a little more elongated, and our spiral arms would come off those elongated appendages from that nucleus that's extended and distended. Wow. This is neat. I mean, the more we stare at it, the more galaxies we see. We're gonna we've got 26 stacked here, so we're gonna pause this here. And 4216 is labeled. All right. And so now we're going to pause it. and save it. It'll be saved up to the server just with that name you see up there. We're going to save it exactly as seen after I just saved the raw file. And now we can clear it and move on to the next one that we want to go see. By now you get the process. We go to a 1 second exposure and do our enhanced visual appearance. So now it's like we've got a night vision system turned on in there. Hey Jessica S, how are you? I'm glad that you've joined us tonight, thank you. Alright, let's see now. Next on my list, I had a list here for you guys tonight. Oh yes, I remember this one. Yeah, this is one that I think that you might even like. Well, you like them all, Daryl, but I think this one is especially a good one, especially for you.
What is it?
I will show you. Alright, so now we're going to go to a galaxy that shows us lots of detail.
M63. No.
Yeah.
I turned you on
All right.
to this recently.
You did. And now
Yeah.
I'm turning everybody onto it again.
Sunflower Galaxy.
You got it. You watch the telescope. It's going to bend over backwards here. And let's find out what star it's going to use as a waypoint star. Okay, it's going to use this star as a waypoint star. Alright. Yeah, we've got our waypoint star. And I'm kind of zoomed in a bit here. But that's good that it's still in here when I can zoom in. Now we'll zoom out. Okay. And there's the Sunflower Galaxy. Real pretty sight. Okay. Alive says, "Where's the black hole? Love of the channel, they keep showing it on the news." Well, yeah, the black hole is in the Sagittarius constellation, which is a summer constellation. It's about there right now, and it will come up in just a couple more months. There goes a Starlink satellite right there. Zing. All right, let's grab a shot of this. I'm glad we did that now, so the next Starlink pass won't affect it, hopefully. Let's do a 25-second. I'm doing 25-second shots tonight, guys, because I don't want to have to deal with the wind as much, and this might help us a little bit. All right, so let's get rid of that. We're going to reduce our enhanced view. Jump into a stack. Those of you who know what I talk about, when I talk about stacks, we're taking an image. Then we take a second image. We align it with the first to make them lined up exactly, and we make an image sandwich, stack them on top of each other. And we bring the faint detail out, and the noise that surrounds every image that is just random, that ends up getting, oh, there we go. That ends up getting subdued and suppressed. So the noise is this stuff in between in the black, right? The detail is the spiral arms, the dark nebula that we capture sometimes, the nebulae that we see, right? So, for instance, watch now in this next shot. Watch how this stack gets rid of much of this noise. Ready? Watch. Boom. See that? Couldn't miss it. That's averaging out the noise and bringing out the detail, right? So as we go on, this object is going to go from being kind of fuzzy and grainy like this to being far more detailed and much more sharp. All right, so you'll see. So we've stacked 3 now, and we can already see the details of the spiral arms pretty nicely here. Again, live astronomy. I love it. Every star you see here is in our galaxy up here. And this galaxy is way, way out here. You know, millions of light years away. In fact, this galaxy, how far away is the Sunflower Galaxy? It is a distance of 36 million light years. As opposed to these stars, which are only several hundred to a few thousand light years away. This is 36 million light years away. So, the fuzzy white here you see in the center, cloud of stars in the nucleus of this galaxy. All stars. Okay, now let's see about anything we can do here to help bring out more detail. There's a lot more in this galaxy that we're not seeing right now. So let's do that. So we're going to do this. And that's going to really brighten it up and capture some detail. Let's do a color balance to kind of get rid of a little bit of that red. There we go. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Wow. The modeling in this galaxy. Okay, MOTTLING modeling of these spiral arms is legendary with this particular galaxy. Okay. Now let's pull out a little detail using a little magic here. Look at that. Wow. That's magical, isn't it?
Look, there's quite a dark bar just under it.
How about that?
No, farther out. Right down at 6 o'clock, over to about 8 o'clock, and
right here?
maybe, yes. You see that?
Interesting. Yeah, I do. I wonder what that is. Let's zoom in. Oh, yeah. Look at that, guys. You can see these beautiful spiral arms. This galaxy in all its majesty on display for us. I can't help but think how many other beings we're looking at right now. And what's even more weird is some of these stars we're looking at here that are in our own galaxy way up here in the front, okay, in the foreground, these may also have planets that have life around them too. I think it's a universe full of life, you know. I've tempered that, of course, with reality, is to say that we haven't found any yet, and I get that. But we will. We will. What do you think of the sunflower, guys? Oh, this is nice.
I may have said this before. Timothy Ferris did a book called Galaxies.
Yeah, yes. I remember the book well.
Yeah, and I want to say M63 was the cover illustration.
Might have been.
I'd have to go look for the book.
Wow.
It's over on one of my bookshelves.
You can almost see this in 3D in a sense, huh? Because the galaxy is kind of on an angle like this to us. And so that angle is sort of in 3D to us.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That dark bar you can see, actually, there's more lightness under it.
Yeah,
and the
I
disk
see
of
that.
stars, I suppose, and it looks like the whole thing would be winding around over onto the right side of the galaxy.
Well, let's see here.
Yep.
Okay, we have some wind issues, as you can see. The stars aren't perfect. I mean, we're gonna keep this anyway, even though it's not perfect, which is fine. So this would be Messier 63. Galaxy. This noise will go away as more imagery comes in. We have 15 stacked right now. But if we were to take this, drop down a little bit of this background, you can see how you can make it look. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And we're seeing it live. That's what I just think that is the best. Hey there, Daisy and Zoe. Amethyst are here. C&D boy, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm sorry if some of you were here that I missed. I apologize for that. Oh yeah, this is stunning. Looks like a soft pillow of stars. It's not so soft though, obviously. But it looks like a soft pillow of stars, doesn't it? We can see red hydrogen 2 regions in here. Okay, we can see dark lanes of dust. But here's some H2 regions in here that you can see. More here, more here. As the stack gets deeper and more of the detail rises to the surface, they increase the signal, the good stuff, to the noise ratio, it becomes more obvious what it looks like. And this is looking really, really nice. Although the wind has affected us, some of the exposures that were taken were good ones. And so they tend to suppress the bad ones. So that's okay. Not bad.
Mark, I'm going to post a link to a picture of M63 in your chat.
Okay.
You can show it if you want. Not trying to show you up, but it's a very detailed, very red exposure, and it shows that dark lane, what it's really doing.
Okay. Okay, we're up to 22 stacked here.
There you go.
Well, that's pretty cool. So here is kind of what we're looking at.
Very red. You see that dark bar at the bottom? It actually looks like
I do.
a bunch of slices of the galaxy.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Yeah, that's neat. Really cool. Wow. Well, that was a pretty shot, Daryl.
All right. Thank you for indulging me.
Sure. Keep in mind that, we're at 100% on our sensor. If you want to look at what this really looks like on our wide-angle view that we use, well, here's what we're looking at. Okay, that's the size of this on our sensor. We're 4 full moons across and 3 full moons tall. Pretty cool, huh?
Mm.
So that's pretty neat. Yeah. Okay, so I think what we can do now is let's pause this here.
Boy, what would
29
Messier?
back.
What would Messier have thought if he had enough aperture to really see those objects he was writing down?
I just don't know. I just don't know.
Bella says there was a glitch in the Matrix.
That. I did not see that, Izabela. That could have been something from YouTube, though. Okay. So this is done. And now let's go back and do 1 second again and do our hyper view once again. There we are. Stunning. Off we go into the wild black yonder. Into the dark. Okay. Okay, we did that. We should do that. We haven't done this one tonight. We're going to do this. First things first, let me pull back our data there, and let's go here and say, get back to our setup. Now, let me see where I am on this. Let's see, actually. Well, first things first. We know that's measure 63. What I want to do is I'm going to center it up. Just a little something I'm going to do here, guys. Don't mind me. Just getting this aligned in the center, and then I'm going to move it a little west, and then a little bit south again. Put this galaxy right in my target sights, and then fire. No, if I fired something, it wouldn't get there for many tens of millions of years, if it could get there at all. Okay, and a little bit more to the west by a tiny bit. Alright, there we go. Okay, now let's look at this and zoom in. And now what I want to do is align this again. So let's bring this down to here. Alright, so now we're aligned. The telescope has the right values, the right location. Now what we'll do is come back here and close this down and come back and go to the next object, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, is there anything that's not cool? It's just amazing. Did you have an object you wanted to look at in particular, Daryl, tonight?
Look like you just read my mind.
Oh, 4565, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Here we go. This is another edge-on galaxy with a beautiful dark lane down the side. This dark material is dust, interstellar dust, intergalactic dust. Interstellar dust is the dust that comes from many billions upon billions of stars that have long since died. And that dust is made in the outer atmospheres of red giants. It's made in the cooling process of a supernova expanding outward. It's made in the shells of planetary nebulae, which are those older stars like the sun's mass that are expanding and contracting and sloughing off their outer layers. In fact, that dust is made of carbon. It's got methanol, formaldehyde, ices on it, carbon dioxide, water ices. And these particles are out there frozen in space and form the basis of fundamental formation of life. You know, it's just incredible how the universe works. And we see it as that brownish dust that we capture most often in our galaxy when we're looking at these clouds up close, because they're in our galaxy. But when we see them far away, like here, well, now we see them a little bit differently, don't we? They look like lines. We can see some detail in these lines, you know? So we're moving over now, and now we're looking almost straight up. So this would be the best view of this edge-on galaxy that we could get for this evening. All right, and I'm going to make sure that we center it up good here too. Okay. And we have a Starlink satellite going through. Love them or hate them, they're going to make sure that our speeds are almost real time. All right. So let's zoom in and just let me check to see how the focus is working tonight. Go to 100% right now. You can see the wind is buffeting the star images. They don't look bad, but we do have wind. I mean, it's sticking straight up. Oh, look at that. That's pretty violent.
Boy, it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is probably not gonna be conducive. It might. I mean, it'll calm down. Maybe it's calmed down enough for us to try it out. Let's do a 50%. Let's do the 50%, and now let's do a. Oh, that's bad. The other thing about stacking is if you have a couple of bad frames, they can fuzz things out. But if you make many more frames and they're good, those kind of get minimized. But we won't spend too much time here because I don't think this is gonna work out. It is sticking straight up. All right, so let's try this. Let's stack this. Let's see if we can get a few good shots of this. If I get 5 good stacked frames, that'd be really cool. All right. I'm so excited. This is one of the nicest galaxies in the sky, and it's directly overhead. So the wind is the only thing we have to contend with. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Also known as the Needle Galaxy.
You got it. All right, let's do this and get a little more detail. Another galaxy down here. Wow. Okay, that's looking pretty. We've got 3 frames stacked, and So far, so good. Been lucky. Let's go back here. Daisy and Zoe, it really does look like a needle. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I guess this brown thing could be called the thread, huh? This is the actual dark lane in here. You can see as we stack more, this detail really strongly comes out. This is a galaxy that's almost totally edge on to us. It's actually, we're looking a little bit at the bottom, so it's not quite here, but it's kind of like a little at the bottom. Notice how there's more of this side than there is of this side. That's because we're slightly below the plane of that disk. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual the nucleus of the galaxy, I think, looks almost
right
star-like there, just under the dark lane, right in the middle.
Yeah, this is saturated, you know, it's just so bright.
No.
But what's neat is, if you look carefully, you can actually see the curvature of the spiral arms going around this underside. See that? Like the bottom of a old phonograph record, or looking like the underside of Saturn's rings. And whereas Saturn's rings are only a few tens of miles thick, okay, this galaxy's arms are probably 3,000 to 4,000 light years thick, and more as it gets near the middle. That's really something. That's beautiful. We've stacked 9. Let's try a little data coaxing, as I call it. Coax some data out here. Wow. Now we're coaxing data, all right. That's something else.
So, at about going to the upper right arm, about a third of the way out, there's a bright object right there. Yeah, that. You think that's just a foreground star, or?
It could be. I'd have to look at the SEDS database and check it out. There's a bunch of databases that you guys can actually go to. SED, S-E-D, NED, N-E-D. And you could look up these galaxies by the names we give them. And the names that you see up here, like in this case, this would be NGC 4565. Right? And that's a galaxy. And then you would be able to find out, for instance, what's going on in there, if there's been any identified features inside the galaxy. There's also another one, the Portal, operated also by the same data center. And that's a beautiful place, too, to go. Vera Lucia Campos says, 4,000 light years thick, can't fathom. I know, huh? It is really amazing to think about that. And we're basing this on our own galaxy too, by the way. But some much more massive galaxies can have a disk that's much thicker, many thousands of light years thick, beyond the 3 to 5. But then the nucleus is even bigger. You know. Beautiful. Well, for the wind's calmed down enough to actually give us a beautiful shot here. Look at the telescope right there. It's pointing straight up. That's pretty cool. So we're getting as much detail as we can. We're looking through the least amount of sky when we look straight up overhead. That's, the least amount of air. So what I do, if we come in here, we hit a Z key, it shows the zenith. Alright, and the zenith is, let me back out here. So the zenith is really just a few degrees away. We're not that far away. There's the Black Eye Galaxy.
Yeah, I saw that.
We've seen that before.
I'd rather fight than switch.
Yes. Okay. While we're waiting for this to come in some more, let's poke around here. Let's go see where Messier 13 is. How about that?
Sure.
It's going to be right over here somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe
over
pretty
to the left
low
of
still.
Arcturus.
Yeah. There's Alphecca.
Also known as Gemma or Gemma.
Yeah.
It's the jewel in the crown of Corona Borealis.
Yeah.
Northern crown.
Okay. Well, Messier 13 should be visible to us. That's a beautiful object to close the night on, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go back to our view here of Messier NGC 4565. What a beautiful galaxy this is. This is 22 stacked. Let's see if we can process a little bit more, just a tiny bit. Drop that noise level into oblivion. Oh my. That's really pretty. What a beautiful galaxy we're seeing right here, guys. Not to mention this other one too down here.
There's one just above it at 12 o'clock.
Right here?
Yep. There's actually a bunch of galaxies in the field there that aren't showing up.
Well, I'm only doing 20-second exposure, by the way.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got 25 stacked here. And the stacking just improves our noise, so it makes it look really, really much better. So I have NGC 4565 Galaxy. Save it. Alright, so our raw file is saved. At least it's supposed to be edited. There it is. Okay. And then I will take and save it exactly as seen. Alright. And then our ping file, that is just the graphic file, you can double click and it'll look just like you see it here. That's saved as well. Okay. So now we're going to clear this. And then clear this. Alright. And we're going to go back to our 1 second interval, 1 second shot interval, and turn on our enhanced view, enhanced telescope view. And while we're here, I'm going to also zoom back out to do the automatic fill where it fits the frame to the screen. This frame of the sensor. So there's the whole sensor. Okay. And now we come back in here. And we come over here. And oh my. This is going to be a lot of fun. So let's do a launch pad shot off to the great Messier 13 star cluster. The location, in fact, where the Arecibo message was beamed to in the 70s. But as we talked about with globular clusters, it wouldn't really do much, right? Because of the fact that the Arecibo message was being beamed to a cluster that probably would be devoid of any life because the stars were among the oldest and therefore had the least amount of material from the periodic table. So no planets can be made around the stars in these clusters very easily anyway.
That plus it's so darn far away. I forget, how far away is M13?
M13? Is it 25,000? There it is.
Something like that.
Let me quickly look here. Let's quickly look. 25,117 light years. That's what it says in there. Okay, well here's Messier 13.
Yep.
What'd you say?
Approximately, as Mr. Spock would say.
Mm-hmm. It is approximately 25,000 light years, Captain.
Well,
thank you.
He would have
Spock.
said the 25,117 or whatever it was you said. Approximately.
Approximately, Captain. Approximately, Spock. All right. So here we go. Let's do a 12-second shot of this, and start right off stacking it up, because this will be immediate gratification here when we see this. And ba-boom. Wow. Yeah. Now see, this is what we call sky gazing. Yep. Oh yeah.
And if you can't see Omega Centauri, this is the next best thing.
Yes, it is. In fact, it's a 12-second exposure is even too long. And I have to actually drop down some of the brightness in that core of that object, which I'll do here. And let me see what it wants to do for processing, see if there's anything. Yeah, it's going to make it too bright. But we can do this. We can take this way down. Alright, so you can now see the stuff in the middle. But then that gets rid of a lot of the other stuff. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah. You stack a few, see if we can see the propeller.
Yeah.
Izabela, didn't they know this then? Yes, they should have known.
Isn't that pretty, Bonnie? Isabel says, "Oh well, my voice is lost in the void tonight. When I sent the Arecibo message, didn't they know the globular clusters are a bad idea?" Yes, they sort of had an idea, and the reason was that the Arecibo message was not meant to actually fall on anyone's doorstep. It was actually a proof of concept that they could do it. Because Arecibo was one of the rare systems that actually had a transmitter up in the control booth that's suspended over the dish, and that transmitter would actually transmit down into the dish and send signal back out into space. Usually they would receive signal, goes up to the transmitter dish or up to the receiver dish, or the receiver hut at the top there suspended, and get processed. That was usually how they captured the signals, but they did something different. They put a transmitter in there that could transmit radar signals back out. And this is how they were able to do things like map asteroids and shape of asteroids by hitting them with radar signals and then capturing that return bounce. And then they would actually see it. Well, they used the same process to send the Arecibo message to Messier 13. Wow. And we have a small galaxy here.
I agree with you too.
Stephen Hawking did warn us, but he wasn't. Okay, I took issue with him saying that because he was 2.5 billion years too late. Because our oxygen atmosphere started building up 2.5 billion years ago. So when that happened, Vera, the problem became that the oxygen reached a certain level in our atmosphere, and anyone who was looking for exoplanets, planets around other stars, like us, we would be an exoplanet to another star system, would say, hey, there's oxygen in that atmosphere, and it's not going away. See, we know, because we're brilliant chemists, us advanced aliens, we know that oxygen would very, very quickly drain out of the atmosphere and bind with other things in the planetary crust. So if it's still there at a relatively stable level, it means that something is replenishing it. And because we're carbon-based creatures, then the only thing that makes sense is that that thing that's replenishing it is life. Because life, carbon-based life, uses oxygen to actually get its energy and to sustain its life. So it's something that any civilization would notice. It's what we're looking for. And we're not even able to travel there, but we're looking for it too. You know? Weird Guy says, could the Event Horizon Telescope be used to send a message? No, not really. I think that was actually see, the Event Horizon Telescope, not all the radio telescopes have these transmitters built in to send stuff back out. Most of them are, if not all of them nowadays, are passive listeners. The Goldstone Array is one that can send out radar, but that's it. There might be a few others, but I don't know. Izabela says, Marc, if you could, in what direction would you send an H1 signal? A high signal. Sorry, I saw hydrogen. Sorry. I would actually send it to like the center of the toward the center of the Milky Way, toward the nucleus, a little away from the center, in an area that's somewhat devoid of nebulae, an area that has some stars in it, the dense star clouds. I'd send it to one of the dense star clouds in the Milky Way. You know, one that has a lot of dark nebula in it, perhaps, because those are regions where any bright nebulae, which would be characterized by hot nebulae that are full of hot young ultraviolet loaded stars sending out ultraviolet light, might not be. So I would go to the more mature stars out there, and that would be the star clouds. All clouds in my house. This view is amazing. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, TND boy. It's undoubtedly from Daryl's winter storm that he's concocted for all of you guys.
It was about 6 inches of snow the last I looked.
Yeah.
Still coming down.
Ray Veneziano says nitrogen and carbon. That's right. As a matter of fact, and Raymond, you probably know this, it's really based on more than just carbon. It's what we call CHONPS, CHONPS, so carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And those form the basis of DNA. They form the basis of all of the life processes that we have within all living things on the planet. And you might say sulfur? What's sulfur? Well, primarily in the bone structure. Phosphorus, of course, you know well that we need phosphorus. So we have a lot of dependency on hydrogen, and carbon, and nitrogen and oxygen. Those are 4 fundamental big elements. And carbon, of course, is the most amazing element because it bonds with almost everything. And the bonds can break and also be made on a routine basis. And people say, well, why not silicon-based life? Well, silicon would be the next contender because it's down below carbon, and those vertical columns going down that way is the elements that are most similar to each other. All right, so going to the left or the right, no, but going down, yes. That's why they say silicon is the one. But silicon likes to make really tenacious bonds, and it doesn't like to let go. So, for instance, when we have a silicon atom bonding with 2 oxygen atoms, then we get silicon dioxide, and it's also a crystal. That's another thing that a silicon likes to do, is make crystal structures. And so that's not something conducive to life, because unfortunately life depends on this variation, bonds that are easily broken and remade to create new compounds that the body requires to make energy, and it uses oxygen and hydrogen primarily, and it uses a lot of the carbon atom is sometimes at the core of all of it. The carbon atom is fundamental. So we don't have a reason to think that there's any other type of life out there other than carbon-based life. It's the fourth most abundant element in the universe, next to oxygen, next to helium, and hydrogen in that reverse order. So it stands to reason that we're using those as a foundation for life. Silicon's too tenacious. This is beautiful. Well, how about this? Here's a little brain drainer for you. When you go to the beach and you're walking on sand, do you know you're walking on mostly a gas? Oxygen. Silicon dioxide is sand. Silicon atom's a little bigger, and you have these two oxygen atoms, and they're there, so you're actually walking on sand where 2/3 of the atoms in the molecule that makes up a sand molecule is actually gas. I just think that's kind of cool. This is good. The wind didn't do too much to us, Daryl.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pause this here. This is 50 stacked. I think that's more than enough. Let's go up here and change our name. I think I mentioned to you guys that when I had the garage guy out to fix the roof, I had him make sure that the roof opens a little further to the east so we had a better view, because I just accepted it as it was and we didn't have to. So now that's part of the reason we can see things a little bit better now in the east. Okay, we're going to save this just like we see it. And then we're going to save it exactly as we see it. All right. All right, and then we'll clear it. Goodbye, Measure 13. We'll see you again. Undoubtedly. All right, I said that was the last object, but I lied. Let's do one more. And I'll let you make that decision, Daryl. Where would you like to go?
Flip a coin, M51 or M101.
Okay.
Unless there's something else you had in mind.
Nope. The last object of the night is yours. Tell me where you'd like to go.
M101.
Good choice. I think we're kind of near it.
I'm sorry?
I think we're kind of near it, right? So.
Should be.
Yeah.
Not too far away.
No. All right. M101 it is. Up near Mizar. Actually, you know what? Do you mind if I take us to Mizar as well, just first?
Sure.
Yeah, because Mizar's really cool.
You want to show them Alcor?
I do.
Alright. You can make that the last object if you want.
No, you wanted to see the Pinwheel Galaxy, M101.
Alright. Folks, when you look at the handle of the Big Dipper in Ursa Major, in the next to last star from the end, it's the crook in the handle. It's a star called Mizar. And if you have good naked eye vision, you may see that it's actually two stars. And Mizar is actually the brighter one. There's a dimmer star called Alcor very close to it. And then when you look at it at a telescope, you'll see that Mizar itself is a double star. And it was considered to be a test of vision back in the day. That if you could see Mizar and Alcor together, that you had pretty good eyesight.
Yeah.
I used to be able to. I can't see it anymore.
Yeah. The telescope is wandering on me right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think I actually caused an issue by interrupting something it was doing. So I don't know how to stop it other than to just shut it down. So I guess we're done.
It is the last object.
Yeah, it is the last object, yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah, alright.
Looks like it's got a mind of its own now.
Yeah, it does. It's got a little issue going on that I'm just going to have to deal with, I guess. So, yeehaw.
Okay. Oh, well. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight.
Yeah, this will be fine. The telescope will be fine. I'm not going to have any issues with it. I just need to, bring it down and put it to bed. Actually, I might be able to do better than that, but I don't want to risk it yet. Let's see if I go. Ay, ay, ay. Hey, there's something interesting we're going by that I can't look at.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, you know what? I'm going to try something nutty. I'm going to do this. I am going to disconnect it and reconnect it and see if disconnecting it stops it from doing that, and if it doesn't, which it doesn't appear to be, then I am going to just shut it off and turn it back on, and then I'll do a plate solve. Okay, so now it's off. Now I'll turn it back on, and that should start me back up. Start me up. You'll see the pure power goes on over here in a second. The telescope won't know where it is, but then I'll do a plate solve and have it figure it out. Okay. But then I gotta connect. Alright, so to do this, that's right, it doesn't know. And it won't be aligned until then, so we're going to shut this down here because that has connection. That goes away, that's good. So then I'll say connect the scope. And then we'll connect. Once we connect, we'll be back in business. And then I'll plate solve. And then I can put it to bed. So I'll have to bring up the coordinate system again. Hopefully it's not going to give me a hassle. Okay, telescope is connected. Obviously we're looking, so I should be able to do this now. Yeah, there we go. So now we're moving. And stopping as we should. And now let me plate solve. Find out where I am. Tell me where I am. Hey.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
What are you doing? This is an exciting thing that just happened.
I couldn't help myself, sorry.
We solved a major problem. Okay, so now let's take our right ascension and copy it in. And let's hope that we don't have to shut this down again to make it do that. It shouldn't. Oh wait, I can hit load first. Yeah, so it's gotta go through this first, then it gotta plate solve. It's doing what's called an initialization of the smart drive, so it's gonna move it over, then it's gonna be done, and then we'll be able to do it from there. My mistake. Yeah, one more. He said, weird guy says, "Oh, one more." Okay. All right. Now it's going to take the GPS fix again, and I gotta let it do it. Well, you guys can hang on if you want to, but I'm going to be shutting down after this once I figure out where it is in the sky once again. I have a couple more housekeeping things to do. I got to set what's called the park position, and then we'll be all set. Oh, look, that was fast. Okay. So there we are. So now I do the plate solve and take the results and put them back in. So we'll do the plate solve again.
Okay, well, if it's
That's
all
fast.
over but the crying, I think I'm going to go, Mark.
All right, Daryl.
Alrighty. Well,
There's
thanks
no
for having me
crying.
on tonight. It's a fun stream.
Yeah, we actually got
And-
quite a few nice things going here.
Yeah. Everybody take care. Thanks for coming. Have a good night. And
I'm
see
sure
y'all
they will.
soon.
All right, Daryl. I'll let you see yourself out.
Okie dokie. Y'all take care. Have a good night. See you,
All right,
David.
Daryl. We'll see you later.
Alrighty. Good night, all.
Bye, hon. Bye now. Okay. So this is 39. Let's see if that syncs up. Okay, looks like I grabbed myself one of those exceptions again. Yep. Yeehaw. Okay, so we'll disconnect. And close down. I don't like that this happens, but hey, you know, this is the little stuff that happens, man. Okay, and now we'll bring it back. And we'll reconnect. Alright, so gear, connect. Start up now, get it connected again, and then I can go through and do my plate solve properly. Alright, I'll have my lights turn on here in just a second. There we go. Let's head back to the east with the telescope a little bit. Okay. All right, let's try this location. Move this over. Okay. Now we'll do the plate solve. There we go. That's good. Copy that. And 13 hours, 20 minutes, and 2 seconds. Copy that and put that in here into the right ascension. Okay, and then declination 39, 13, 43. And then sync it. And we did it. Okay. All right, so we're all synchronized again and back corrected again. Oh, no, don't save that. Okay. All right. Now, I gotta bring us down and give us another position. It's called a park position. Isn't it amazing just how many stars there are out there? I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. David, the scope has a GPS built in, and when the GPS is operating, it knows exactly where it is in the planet, and it can then decide what's overhead, what's going on. But you have to align it and make sure that it's pointed in the exact right direction, and then you have to make sure that you give it the coordinates for its location, so that you basically calibrate it. So it can figure out where it is, but it doesn't know exactly where it is until you calibrate it. And that's what I did before just now, as I aligned it. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up and set up here. Actually enter it and then go into the telescope setup, which is here. And then go down a whole bunch of things until we get to the park position. And that's the lower limit. And there's the park position. So I hit enter. And it says use current. That's what I'll do, and it's going to say set. There we go. So now that's where it'll go when I want to shut it down. So just to show that, I'll go up here, head out there. Let's say we're looking at something out there. Okay. All right. So say we're looking at something out here, and we're done for the night. I would then say park, and it'll say, do you really want to park it? Yes. And that park position is that one we just saved, and you're going to see it come down now and go back, and it's going to tell you it's parking the scope. See, here it says slewing. All right, and then once it's done, it's in its park position. It says, okay, you're done. So now I can turn off the power to the telescope. There we go. All right, and so I'll disconnect the telescope from the software that controls it, and you'll see the lights go out, and then I can shut down the system that's running it. And now this guy here, I'm going to quit this, exit this. This is our camera control system. All right, and now this guy, here's the telescope in the building. So when I'm ready, as I am now, I'm going to come in here and say, okay, it's time to close the roof, because everything is shut down, ready to go. So then I just hit here, and it'll say closing the observatory. And there we go. And now it's good night, telescope. Good night. Thank you for coming. Thank you for playing with us. Okay, so there we go, and there you have it. So I want to thank you guys for coming out. Good night to all of you. It was wonderful to see you, and we'll see you in the next one as soon as tomorrow, when we're ready to start this all over again, because I'm crazy, you see. It's like 1:30 here in Connecticut in the Northeast, and I'm just like out of my mind here. David Schmidt asked the question, what was wrong with the roof? Well, the roof actually had a mechanical breakdown, a mechanical failure. And the mechanical failure caused the roof to bind, and the binding caused the logic board in the opening system to burn out. So I had to have someone out there at great expense to fix it, which they did a couple days ago. And then to fix the computer, there was a problem with the computer, which turned out to be one of the cables. And the cable was replaced yesterday by Tara Diulis, who is our co-host on SkyTour Radio and a member of the SkyTour livestream organization. And she went out and took this cable that I sent, and she installed it. And from that point forward, there was no problem. But she also had to redo something on the computer, because I went back to what's called a restore point. And the restore point I did remotely, and it never came back. So there was a problem where you have to answer questions during the restore, and I couldn't see it because it rebooted the computer. And when it rebooted the computer, the remote software didn't reconnect. So it was running in what's called safe mode, and you can't see what it's doing because it doesn't bring up those applications. All right, in any case, you guys have a good night, and I will be here again on the next clear night. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was actually good. We had a good night. We got a lot of things to check out. Look in the database. Izabela has put up the links, as you saw. So I think that, that's how it works, so it's good. So Izabela, thank you for what you do as well. And tomorrow is fine, Izabela. No worries. All right, well, guys, you have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming.